Hi, and welcome back to On the Water Flies. Today we are going to be tying a pattern known as the Tungsten Surveyor. For this we're going to be using a size 12 jig hook along with a 3.5mm slotted bead. We're going to be using 0.015 lead wire. You're just going to do a few wraps up towards the front. Push all that together and cut off your excess, or snap it off, or break it off, sorry. Once you have that up against the bead, we're going to be taking some Uni-Thread 8/0 thread. Many of these materials are available online at onthewaterflies.com. Once you get your thread started on behind the lead wraps to kind of help them lock in place, work your way up through them just to get them all down good and tight. You can also use some super glue and super glue them in those lead wraps if you want. I try to stick away from super glue if I have to, or if I can. Work your way back to about where the point or the barb of the hook would be. We're going to be taking some medium colored Coke de Leon. Take about 6 or 7 fibers. You're going to want it about the length of the shank of the hook. The wonderful thing about this pattern is it's normally fished in the wintertime. It's fished deep. Doesn't resemble any other trout food during that time of year, but for some reason this pattern just absolutely slays them. Cut off your butt ends of the Coke de Leon and just build up a nice thread base along your hook. Even out that transition at the back of your lead wraps there to the back of your fly. It's normally tied with a silver BR wire, but I kind of like the look of the gold. Adds a little bit more flash. So go ahead and tie that in. In my opinion, you can never have too much thread on nymph patterns. Helps weigh it down, get it down deep, especially on the underbody. Just even that out again. Now for the body material, we're going to be using some light rainbow Sal Scud dubbing. And for the thorax, we're going to be using dark rainbow Sal Scud dubbing. Just go ahead and take a little bit. Form a nice dubbing noodle onto your thread. Once you get up to a little past where your lead wraps started from, go ahead and switch over to the dark. Oops, sorry. Don't switch over to the dark yet. From here, you're going to take your lead wire, or not your lead wire, your gold or silver wire depending on your preference. Wrap it up to the thorax. You can cut it or bring your bobbin up against your fly and just helicopter it off. Tends to break off a little closer than if you were to use scissors. Now from here, take some of the dark rainbow scud dubbing. Alright, build up a nice big thorax, and take your thread right behind your bead and just do a bunch of wraps. Effectively what you're doing here is building up a hot spot collar right behind that bead. And if you want, after a little while, you can go ahead and do 1 or 2 turn whip finish to help hold that thread in place, so you have more than just one whip finish with all this thread, so you prevent the fly from falling apart on you if your thread slips off the front. Like a nice big collar on mine. Go ahead and whip finish that. Cut your tying thread, and then I'm using a dubbing brush, just kind of brush out a little bit of that collar, make it look nice and buggy. And you can take some UV glue or some head cement, put it on your thread wraps, lock it in tight, and that is the Tungsten Surveyor. Thank you for joining us today on the Water Flies. I'll see you next time.